Hello awesome people, I hope you're having just a blissfully awesome day today. Today we're taking a look at the short story in this Tsathoggua Collection. All you folks, called the Tsathoggua Cycle, which I'll link to you in the comments below. And this is a Clark Ashton Smith short story called The Testament of Athammaus and such. It's about 22 pages long. I read it last night over a couple of days ago on Saturday and so forth. And it's now Monday when I'm recording this for you folks. As a reminder, this is in the Tsathoggua Cycle. These collections are in the Cthulhu Mythos characters, but they're not actually in the Cthulhu Mythos. They're excerpts by Clark Ashton Smith that are set more in his stuff and so forth. This is a prelude to the Testament of Athammaus, which introduced Tsathoggua, that was brought into the Cthulhu Mythos proper for you folks. And so in this book, it's actually published before that one and so forth, but it's not actually in our general world of purview instead, right? And so forth. So anyway, so basically what's happening, and no spoilers as a reminder, but again, this is stuff that's set in the Cthulhu Mythos and so forth. So basically what happens is that Clark Ashton Smith creates the character of Tsathoggua in the tale of Athammaus. This is a prelude to, and then what winds up happening after that is that he shares it with Lovecraft and Clark and other writers too, like Robert E. Howard and so forth. And Lovecraft likes it so much that he actually incorporates it into the Cthulhu Mythos in a novella that he's ghostwriting for Zelia Bishop called The Mound for you folks. Both The Mound and the tale of Athammaus are delayed by a couple of years by publishing and such. And so the first one to actually write it is actually a Robert E. Howard short story and so forth. And then The Whisper in Darkness from Lovecraft is then the next one to mention, Tsathoggua and so forth. So it was sort of a collective effort between the big three authors of weird tales during that era for you folks. So this again, the setup of the tale of Athammaus and so forth. And so basically I'm going to give you a spoiler-free review. So it's going to be a lot faster. All the fun stuff, definitely an interesting, deeper ride for you folks. Clark Ashton Smith is a very unique style of writing, and that's very, very different than a lot of others because he had more of a didactic memory. He would read dictionaries and such as a kid and remember that verbiage. And so you're regularly looking up things like ignescent and such like that as you're reading this. I think that's great stuff. But he has a different sort of a view of writing as a result. So basically what's happening in the first few pages, just to get you caught up, and then no more, in case you were just to read it in a short period of time. Our main character is the person who is speaking that the Testament is from. He is a headsman for Chaosium, an older city-state that used to be really, really strong in the area before it fell. And he's going to talk about a big, nasty character who was a bandit and so forth, and is captured. And actually, he's surrounded. He just gives himself up rather than fighting. And then he is killed by the headsman after justice, and then stuff will happen. That's like, basically like 25% into a 22-page short story. So what happens next and such, as you know, rather than that being the end of justice, that's actually the beginning of the Testament for you folks. And so there you are. I did like this, heading back to Clark Ashton Smith's interesting view. It took me about 3 or 4, pages and such for me to get reminded and refreshed of his style of writing. But once that happened, I got back into it and so forth. It's very distinct. So anyway, that's Clark Ashton Smith for you. Again, this is a guy who's hugely influential in the Cthulhu Mythos Tsathoggua do. This is more of a fantasy take of that and so forth. So it's more sword and sorcery. And it's heavily influential. And from Castle Amber in Dungeons & Dragons to, the 7 Gaseouses, which is also in here too. He's heavily influential on Dungeons & Dragons and such. So there you are. That is Clark Ashton Smith's Testament. So I'm going to give you it's nice to get back to him. It's a little short from my tastes. And I did like the ending. So I'm going to give it 7.5 for you folks. It's good stuff. And so there you are. Have you read this? And again, I'll link you to it, both this collection as well as trying to find it for you for free, since it's an older short story by him. And some of his works are free online. And have you read it? If so, what did you think about it? Did you agree or disagree with my 7.5 out of 10? If so, let's talk about it in the comments. Well, and if you disagree with it too, that's fine. No issues. I'm not going to lose any sleep. If you like this video, why not hit the subscribe button, the like button, the bell icon if you're feeling frisky, and then let your friends know too. Clark Ashton Smith around, Cthulhu Mythos fans, fantasy fans, Mythos fans, all sorts of stuff like that. Right? Just let them know. As a reminder, this channel's name is The Worst Thing About New Books. That's a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old ones, right? And it's a definitely older classic that we forgot about. And will influence on stuff, right? And then finally, I want to pause and thank you so much just for taking some time, out of your day and investing in watching my video, because we all have so many things, right, that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spend time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it much. So once again, have a great day.